Hello candidates, I am going to dictate you a passage from Progressive magazine. So please get ready for the dictation. The dictation will start after 15 seconds. Mr. Chairman, sir, so far as the rural banks are concerned, they will help the rural poor. But so far as I know, the number of banks which are going to be started is very small according to the requirements of the rural people. If you want that they should really be helpful to the rural people, you must take into account the 60% population of the rural people who are almost poor peasants or agricultural laborers who require help, who are compelled to go to the money lender for their existence in their difficult time for their needs. If the government is really going to help them, then it requires finance. Those families as a whole in India will number a minimum of 6 crores. If you are to help them by giving at least rupees 100 or rupees 200 as loan per year for productive purpose, it will come to rupees 600 or 1200 crores per year. Then the purpose of the government will be really helpful to the poor people. The question is, if you want to give loans to these persons and want to free them from the clutches of the money lender or the big traders, then you must create a condition so that these poor persons, may be agricultural laborers, may be poor peasants, will be able to utilize the money taken from the bank in a productive way, have some surplus, help his family and give back the loan taken from bank. In this way, the bank will be working properly, not getting liquidated. That condition must be created for the poor peasants and the agricultural laborers. This requires that these poor peasants must have sufficient land, proper irrigating facilities, seeds and all that, so that by utilizing a small plot of land he can produce sufficiently to maintain his family, to sell the surplus, make a profit and give back the loan taken from the bank. That condition must be created. That is the basic thing we must think of. How are you going to do that? Without having that in our mind, our efforts will go in a blind way and will not help these poor people. Next comes the agricultural labor. If you cannot give them land, maybe scheduled castes or scheduled tribes or anybody, you must guarantee the minimum wage to the agricultural laborer. The government guarantee work to the agricultural laborers throughout the year, or at least the rural industries should be developed so that they can get employment in the rural areas during off time when no harvesting or sowing is going on. You must arrange the labor power to be utilized in developing irrigation and other things or some rural industries so that they can employ labor. Then only the agricultural laborer taking loan from the bank can help his family, and the bank will be really helpful. without this broad outlook in our country, the objective of rural bank to help these poor people will not be fulfilled. I want that the minister should have some such outlook so that it can really help the rural people. For this, a radical land reform is required in the rural areas. The Agricultural Tax Inquiry Committee report or RAY committee report has already mentioned that 10% of the families are controlling two-thirds of the rural produce. If that is the case, if you are going to help those 90% rural families who are only getting only one-third of the rural produce, then that system must be changed, and for that a radical reform is required. You have better seeds and fertilizers and irrigation. Scientists are developing various methods of having sufficient produce from a limited area of land. There is the rotation of crops, etc. You can fully utilize the scientific achievements for the poor people to develop new village industries, and then there are families who are holding and controlling vast amount of land without being able to utilize it, who become money lenders at great profits. These must be removed from the village. Then only your rural banks will be helpful. Otherwise, these rural banks would be the dens of the money lenders. If you do not proceed in that way, it will work as a shelter for the money lenders. They will take money in the name of agricultural workers and poor peasants and utilize it themselves. If a government officer goes there, well, so many laborers are tilling the land, and they will make it appear before the officer that the agricultural laborers are utilizing it. But really speaking, they are nominal. The same things in cooperatives also. Cooperative loans are taken by rich farmers and they utilize it in the villages in the name of the poor people. So, if you really want to help the poor and free them from the clutches of the money lenders, the government should have a radical change in the system of village economy